And I was DMing with you, Pika. First of all, thank you for coming in. I know it's a long day for you. It's a long day for me. It's a long day for a lot of viewers, but it's really nice to take a moment and look through a couple of the pivotal games today. So thank you much for coming. You and anybody else from your team are most welcome to come and join. Same thing with ELSR. Okay? Cool. All right, so we're going to go over this again. Please try to keep gamer words and swears to a minimum. As we discuss, we'll look at the build here, and then we'll go from there into the actual replay. And then we'll replay render it. We'll discuss from both perspectives. If you guys have anything you want to add at any point in time, please just say so. It's not a big deal. This is this isn't accusatory or anything like that. This is an opportunity for everybody to learn from your guys' perspective how the game worked. And get a better appreciation for the hard work and effort that you guys put into King of the Sea, both before and during, and of course after the games are, covered and whatnot. So
Sure.
this is our Stalingrad build, and you've got main armaments mod 1, surveillance radar, aiming systems, propulsion module, concealment system, and gunfire control range. All the kind of good stuff that you would want to have in a Moskva, especially if you are planning on trying to cross-shoot the map and try to take advantage of a cruiser that might not be expecting you. Is that correct, Rin?
Yes. So the
Okay.
range is basically for the crossfire availability.
Absolutely. You could also take reload, and that's if you plan on focusing more on what's in front of you as opposed to what's on the side of you.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay, and then now you've got Ovechkin, because I can see that Ovechkin has a bonus to Grease the Gears as well as Survivability Expert. You get that extra 500 HP to your Stalingrad health, which of course could be crucial because you get all the extra heals as well with Superintendent, so that just makes you a little bit tankier, right?
Yeah, and also the blue shell that's give a better dispersion. Like you have the colored shell trajectory on the captain.
Ah, okay. So because of the tracer, it helps you trace your shells versus other people that are in the game trying to shoot the same target. Right?
Well, the real reason is it just looks cool and I feel like it's giving me better dispersion.
Hey, if you want to feel that way, you're welcome to do so. Okay. You've got gun feeder, hydro. Wait, this is
This is
consumable one
for
has.
radar.
Yeah, for radar. Yep. Adrenaline rush, radio location concealment. Why radio location on the Stalin? Does that mean you plan to be off by yourself more?
Because like Stalingrad in most games are placed in like the center of the map, so it's quite important to get the info about who is closest to you, and that can potentially prevent some destroyer rush.
Hmm. Got it. Yeah,
And
and okay.
yeah, that's just giving you extra information that your DD is probably too busy to get.
Sure. Yesterday we did the same map, MHG versus I'm trying to remember, Epoxy. And that Stalingrad was in the back, all the way up on the north at ACAP. Kleber coming around. I don't believe that Stalin had radio location. He knew the Kleber was kind of there, but didn't know exactly where. All right, and then for your flags, you've got anti-det, ramming flag, fire chance, flood reduction, fire reduction, heal boost, speed, and consumable enhancements. Pretty much everything you'd want to have in a Stalingrad. Cool. All right, well, let's take a look at the replay and see how this game unfolds. Here we go. Okay, let's get it started. And now, those of you that are watching on Discord, you're probably about 20 seconds delayed from where we're going to, like what you'll see on stream. So keep that in mind. If there's a key moment coming up or something, please feel free to just ask me to pause, and I'd be very happy to do so. Rin, could we start off with you telling us a little bit about what's the decision making behind your lineup and what are your initial goals here?
So so this lineup is basically for a 10-line push if the enemy side is not putting too much ships on 10-line. And the Stalingrad Moskva and the destroyer is just for defending the home cap. And
Got it.
like before the match, we didn't expect KSA to put too many things on 10-line. but I mean, we get information first and then decide what to do. But my Des Moines and battleships got a bit overextended on turn 9
Mm-hmm.
and kind of get them killed. So
Right.
at that time, it's a little bit too late because we have like 2 ships already dead, and um, so we tried to like make a push in 1 to 5 line, and
Mm-hmm.
got some kills, but it's not enough to turn around the game.
Okay. So I'm going to pause it here. It's a minute and a half in. You guys are pinging, clicking the middle of the map. Obviously, that's your radio locations. You're trying to figure out where exactly are the enemies located. At this point, if you don't mind, Pikachu, could you tell us a little bit about your clan, your team's plan here, the ship lineup? You brought what you guys were trying to accomplish early.
Yeah, sure. So, just before I begin, I'm watching your Twitch stream now. I just pulled it up, and I'm seeing the thing. Is there a way you could stream it on Discord? Because I know there's a little bit of delay, right? Or
Yeah, I could probably do that. Let me see.
yeah,
Share
because
my
that would
screen.
give me like
Sure.
that way. I'm not. I don't. That was a little bit better. All right.
Should be up now.
Now, are you only watching their perspective, or could you see both perspectives?
We're just watching one perspective at this point, which would be obviously there's I got the replay from
Oh, so we're
from
watching
Rin.
their replay. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. Let me. Okay,
It's
so
okay if you're not 100%. That's not a big deal. There's a
I'm
lot of
trying
games
to
you
remember-
played.
Yeah, so for this one, we I think since they've been running the Marseilles on us, right? And
Mhm.
they've been being really aggressive with it. And so and then when we see that they have an incomp, like what that tells us is that they're going to be pushing rather on the 1 line or the 10 line. So we actually set up a defensive hold on B to like kind of receive their push. It was actually kind of similar, I think, to the one they're doing right now with the Moscow, Ohio, Yang. And then I think we wanted to make a decent play, or like to play for C early to see if we can grab it.
Okay.
And then our way of fighting for D, so like we're also trying to play for D, is basically that rock on the A line on F8. That I would say, do you see what I'm talking about? Yeah, you're putting your camera right at it.
That one.
We thought that was a really key position. And so we put a Napoli there because Napoli is tanky, it's stealthy, it has good armor, it doesn't have a hydro or some of these other functions like radar or hydro off the cap in the surrounding area, but it provides a lot of map presence and creates good angles. So that was kind of, in my opinion, I think that play is what really put us in a good position against their push on the 10 line.
Yeah, there were two.
That's why I was when I was talking to you, like you should get Quick's replay because that replay is the Napoli perspective because he played Napoli.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't able to get it. You guys were super busy, so I didn't want to keep messaging you guys while the tournament's on.
Oh, you didn't
and
actually
stuff,
get it?
No. Hey, it's not a big deal, or maybe I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just having the one replay and being able to talk through it, I think, is important. And we're gonna see. I think it might be actually nice to see it from ELSR's perspective, anyways, because of how things will turn up. So, all right. So you've got your Napoli that obviously you're gonna end up putting where it goes. You're thinking, from what I've seen so far, teams that have tried pushing on the west side 1-2 line haven't really been that successful, whereas teams that typically try to push along the 9-10 have been, in general, a little bit more successful, or at the very least it's led to some crazier games. Not to say the west side is worthy of being ignored or anything. So you guys both went for a receive the push on the 1-2-3 line on the west, and nothing ever happened for a very, very, very long time. As Rin was saying, there's a very strong push from ELSR on the 9-10. You guys are getting prepared for that. Rin, I have a question for you. What's the decision making behind the Incomparable? Why did you choose the Incomparable for your battleship on this side? You know?
We just want to have something like have the speed, and obviously St. Vincent is not available with the mouse there, and so the only option is either Incomparable or Borgon, and since I expect them to be running the Moins heavily, so the Incomparable seems to be the only choice. And our BB player is really confident with his Incomparable also.
Okay. Well, and so that's important, right? Knowing your ship and feeling comfortable is indeed very important. Okay. So you're figuring he's going to go out there because that was one of the things that we were saying is why run in comp versus, as you said, a Bragon. But okay.
Well, I think the failure of the cap like the D push is not really due to the shape choice, but the player's decisions there.
I would agree. We'll take a look at that in a little bit as your radar is now up and you're able to detect King Viper's Z42 and the Storm's Salem that were, as Pikachu, you were saying, you were going for that quick early cap pressure on C.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the moment where things got really crazy. Quincy takes 2 torpedoes in his Ragnar. Ouch.
Well, those kind of things could happen on Ragnar. Like, it's just what you have to take if you want to run the ship. And that torp kind of screwed our plans on the 7-8 line, because I was planning like Ragnar to spot 7-8 line and provide some pressure into a C cap, but obviously losing all the HP points makes him not able to do that.
Right, absolutely. Now, Pikachu, from your guys' perspective, obviously you called out, hey, something just took 2 torpedoes from that 46. So you know you probably hit a destroyer. You know he's probably quite low.
So we actually he got radared, I believe. I think with our pathing, we also had some radar pressure there. We weren't intending to pick up the torp the Ragnar, but we were intending to like try to spot or we had a lot of guns ready on the 7-8 line. I mean, it's interesting to see that they only had 1 Ragnar there. We were kind of expecting that they could have potentially had like more guns, but we kind of had the same thought process as ELSR did, where we wanted to have guns ready on 7 line to be able to like help our Napoli like get into that position as safely as we can. I mean, we can't stop them from getting spotted, but we were like prepared to burn a smoke if we needed to.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of the idea. Like we've seen teams put Marseilles right here, and they've been able to get it there pretty safely. So we just thought to be a little bit extra safe and put a Napoli there. Because it's like the Marseille does have more health, but the Napoli the armor scheme, and it's basically like an unnerfed Petro's armor scheme in a lot of ways, And so,
oh no, absolutely, yeah. And you can see here, Rin actually took that shot, and he was ready for it. The problem is, you can see how important that torpedo hit on Quincy was, right? He didn't see your Napoli pushing up. He didn't see Quicksilver, didn't catch it. So because of that, Rin's shot is too late, doesn't have the impact that he's hoping for. 5 seconds earlier, heads up, that could have been a very different situation for Quick.
Yeah, I don't know exactly at what range Stalingrad needs to be to like be consistently citadeling Napoli, I guess, or really punishing him. But if it's like what would have been really problematic is if they had an Ohio like on the 5-6 line, like just ready to clap him, and like if they had a radar there too, like to radar his approach, like even if he smokes,
right?
Like, that could have been really problematic for the Napoli.
Absolutely.
But luckily they didn't have that for us. So, but
now we actually like ran the Marseille on the same island like during scrims. but I finally decided not to use it because I found most people just don't play the 10-9 very hard. So
Ah, interesting. Okay. So now I'm taking a look at your guys' positioning at the 10 line, the 9-10 line.
Oh no.
Yeah, you see that. Oof. At this
we
point,
definitely
whoops.
took lots of torps during the finals.
Yep, you got a shot in at the rear of Quicksilver, but Buster taking that torpedo really hurts. And you guys didn't know that was Buster that took the torp, right? You just know you got a torp hit on something. So, Rin, you said that there was a miscommunication, misplay. What should have happened at this point with your push?
Basically, the Des Moines player actually want to turn around and like camp in the smoke in the safe position, but the Marseille and he didn't like actually tell the Marseille and Incomparable, so those two just keep pushing, and
Is that desync? Did that torp just like go through his?
yeah, it should be desync.
It's
So
got to be
with-
something like that, yeah, because that was really close.
By
So
your
with
streams.
Des Moines playing very passively, the Incomparable and Marseille just charged into C cap and try to shoot Napoli, and like things just go wrong like that.
Okay. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's your Marseille taking a torp. He's backing up. Your Incomparable is pushing forward. Steven is now pushing forward as well in the Des Moines. Which ship is supposed to be in front? I'm guessing the Marseille?
Well, I would say they shouldn't be pushing at all.
Sure.
Des Moines is actually just trying to turn around here. He didn't. He exited the smoke because he want to turn around. And
Oh, okay.
and yes, and also the smoke is not very well laid. It should be a bit forward. The smoke. So
Right. Okay.
So yeah, or did they just let the smoke too early, that caused smoke to be too far away from where it should be?
Okay, so slight mistiming there. Now Quicksilver is detected, but because he smoked, he's not able to see Steven's turn out in the Des Moines. So this is actually a really good decision for Steven to turn out at that moment.
Yeah, that's quite true.
Now your Incomparable is going full send, it looks like. I think he's got his engine boost on. He's moving very quickly considering how slow I've set the replay right now. And your Marseille looks like he's following. Go to real time. Meanwhile, you're continuing to ping with where you're thinking you guys have to think about where the enemy is. So you are still expecting KSE to push on the 1-2-3 line at this point. Yes, sir.
Well, that pin position is the place where the Incomparable want to go. He pinned it because he wants him and Marseille to reach that position, so he can be safe from all the shells from like 8-9 line.
Okay. That makes sense. Yep, he's trying to get down there. Buster's throwing his torpedoes in. At what point do you guys decide you have to push over out west?
Well, I think they already decided.
Okay.
For Incomparable, since the push has started, he can't turn away because the ship has very huge citadel, and yeah, it will just get deleted if he turns around. And well, at that time, like nothing can be changed.
Yeah, he's in a very difficult position because he's pushing in towards the Napoli. The Napoli's got the armor.
And there's a Des Moines smoke. On the
There's a
left.
smoke with the Des Moines, yep. So you know you're expecting torpedoes to come up this direction then. Obviously there's a cruiser that's in that smoke that's just going to hammer away for free at 8952's Incomparable. So the best you can hope for is going to be a trade here. Pikachu, tell me about what's going on in comms on your side at this moment.
So I mean, when we figured out that the incomp was on the 10 line, we thought we were in a decent position because, again, the Napoli, like, that was really the key to, I think, us, because like they've won the first. This is game 3, right? And
Yes.
they've beaten us pretty comfortably the first 2 games, and then
Right.
but we kind of started getting a feel for how they play, and so with the Marseille, so we like right now, once we figured out that the incomp was on the 10 line, like, he may have been a little bit slow about it, but our response is for the Ohio to like get his HP in, like, so he should be pushing in. I think he's a little bit slow on it, and then the Des Moines and the whatever DD that is on the 10 line, they're just trying to, you know, punish them for them making this play as much as possible. And then I think I'm even on the 5 line, and I just like forget about the 1, 2, 3, 4 line because we know that they're playing defensively. So I'm shooting cross shots at the incomp.
Okay.
But because we know, like, we think that if we can get the incomp off the board, then that kind of takes away their ability to make plays on our cruisers. Because I think it's really the incomp's overmatch. Like, if he gets a good shot with good dispersion on our Napoli, like, it's going to be really hard for them to dig that Napoli out.
Yeah.
If that incomp dies. So we're all focused on the incomp right now, and I'm telling our Ohio just to go full speed in to, like, just because the incomp, he has an overmatchable nose. Like, the thing that's scary about the incomp is if you run a strat like what ELSR runs, like, it's kind of like an ambush play style, like, we're gonna pop up on a flank and we're just gonna out trade you. Like, the incomp is really strong because her overmatch and her stealth and speed. So she just has, like, she's not the tankiest battleship, but she can make plays, and so our response is to put in a tankier battleship in that fight and try to kill her as quick as we can, and then
Got it.
Yeah. But
So
that's kind of what's going on in our comms. Is like we've made the call out to kill the incomp. So
okay. And I mean, I've been there in competitive, right? All guns on blank, and everybody just kind of drops what they're doing, and finds themselves a shot if they can. What's interesting was that Captain Caesar follows in the Marseille. Rin, were you expecting that to happen here?
Well, I'm being honest to you because I'm in a ship that's parked in 5 line. I can't really see what 9-10 line is going on. Like, yes, I am the caller of the team, but the players on 10 line, they did their own decisions.
Okay.
I couldn't have the chance to stop them from doing any of this. Like, they trust their decisions, they make a mistake this time, and well, we just should accept what it is. Probably the Marseille just thinks he should be following his teammate, since the Incomparable push in. Like, if no one follows, he just die for nothing.
Right. So it's kind of, no matter what he chooses, it's all over already, essentially.
At this point, yes. Like, we probably can't afford losing 1 ship, but 2 ships is a bit too much. Like, we can make a push, like, in 1 to 5 line to try to make something happen, but losing 2 ships this early. Also, the Ragnar eating the torps, like, that kind of makes us quite desperate in this game.
Yeah, there's a certain factor of luck involved as well, right? I mean, was it 4? I think it was 3 torpedoes between your 2 destroyers early, which really makes it difficult for you to exert pressure with those destroyers. There you go. Okay, there goes Caesar. Just as Well Done comes around. Now, what's interesting is Well Done wants that kill. You know it. And Pikachu, like you said, all guns on these targets. And in order to do that, he ends up taking a couple torpedoes for his trouble.
Yeah, I think he could have path feathered here because, like, if we knew there was a DD on the 10 line, right? Like, I mean, this is something that, like, this is an individual player thing, and he it's Ryan. He's a really great guy. It's like he's a good battleship player. He's a good player. But we have some of our guys that are a little they're new to KSC, and they're not used to playing games against like some of the top teams like ELSR and Gaishu, and so but yeah, he the only way he could have prevented that is if he, we knew that the gearing was on the 10 line, so he just would have had to had the foresight to be like, hey, when I come around this corner, it's very likely that there could be torps in the water, and so
Sure.
I need to angle in. That's
Okay.
really the only thing he could have done there.
Absolutely. So, you haven't won the game yet, though, right? Are you starting to think about, how do we just keep this win going?
So I think at this point, so I think I called out on our on the 1-2-3 line. I think we had a smoke Des Moines that we want to play defensively here. I said that I would expect the Moskva to come down the 1 line, even though he hasn't been spotted all game. Just like it's really important to keep angles, and so like ELSR's doing a really, really good repush right here on the 1-4 line. They've got a Stalin on the 5. They got a Moskva on the 1. They've got a Yu Yang coming up the middle, I guess, to get vision or whatever. So they're creating a really good crossfire, and you'll actually see soon that they actually they ended up making a really good play on our home cap. But if you look at the points, because we controlled B, we sat on 2 caps all game. We picked up 2 kills for no trade, and now we control C or D. Like, this is like our game to lose. Like they're just trying to make a play, and like I think what we call out right here, because of what their Ohio is doing, like I'm focused on the Ohio and the Vermont. Our Salem, he's fixated on the Ohio, and then our Des Moines on the 2-3 line, they start trying to chip in on Ohio, but they're a little bit slow on, like if they were like down on the H line or like I line right now, then they could be farming the Ohio, and they wouldn't be caught in such a nasty crossfire where they pick up our Des Moines here for no trade. So
Yeah,
like
Rin, your push was really
in my
good.
mind is like their repush. Like this is like textbook, like really clean how ELSR does this right here. And in my opinion, like as fighting against ELSR for like multiple clan battle seasons now, and we played him in the finals in the KOTS. Last KOTS, they won this KOTS, and we won the one before. Like that, like they're really strong playing, in my opinion, for playing for like map and playing for trades. And this is like a really good example of how they can push 3 ships into 3 ships and come out on top, kinda. I mean, I guess they have more because they have the Ohio there, but.
Well, yeah, but what I like about that push is all of them went down together in a line. It wasn't 1 or 2 out in front. It was all together, and that created the crossfire you were talking about. And poor Warped Chaos kind of just got stuck between them.
Yeah, the only thing he could have done was just like if us recognizing that we have WinCon and we just need to run now and just play safe, play defensive, and we could have just done that like a couple minutes sooner, then I don't think we would have lost him. But
hey, look,
but yeah,
you're getting shot at.
ELSR is they're just trying to make a play happen because I think the game was strategically over without any mistakes happening on either side, like after the Incomp and the Marseille go down on the 9-10.
Rin, why did you not continue to try to shoot the Salem?
Which Salem?
The one that's directly left of you.
I believe I don't have the spotting, and I also don't have the angle, so the Salem is not able to kill. He is like free to reverse all the way back to the other side of the island. So because our battleship died, so there isn't any crossfire existing in the right half of the map. So the Salem is just free to reverse. And it's just not a kill for us. Like we throw the Ohio in, and it's still not able to kill the Salem.
Okay. Well, we're watching the replay render right now. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about with this game. It was a short game, but a very decisive one. There's the initial spot on your Ragnar. Okay, that must have been the Salem that radared.
Yeah.
Yes, that's in radar.
Okay. And then those were gearing torpedoes that hit the Ragnar, not the Z-42s. And you can see how just one or two little things cause a whole collapse of everything else. And I'm sorry, I don't think I'm sharing my screen anymore. But
No, but I think we both are following you.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, like about like when you play a really good team, like I mean, if you watch the entire series, like the games are usually over, like often, like for us, like at KS, like in the first,
Yeah.
5
It is
minutes
big brain
sometimes, or
time.
8 minutes, because
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things go wrong for us and they capitalize on it, and then we're down HP, we're down ships, and it's really hard to come back, like when for any team. Like you have to be like a lot better than the team that in that game to come back from like a big disadvantage like that. Like I've seen some good teams on EU before, like who and NNA, like Gaishu has done this a lot, and I'm pretty sure ELSR has too, where you give up a ship for free at the start and you can still fight your way back. But it's really
Right.
hard to do that against a team that's close to your caliber. So,
Sure.
but
Well, like you always have to try. Like although we lose 2 ships for
yeah,
nothing, but like still need to try our best to see
Yeah.
if there's any possibilities.
Yeah. No, it was a great try either way, so I do appreciate that. And thank you both for coming in and dropping off. I know again it's been a long day for you guys, so unless there's anything else to bring up, we can move on to the next replay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you both again. Good luck next weekend. We're all counting on you.
Yeah, see you.
yep. See ya.